Your trauma is never your fault, but healing is always your responsibility. Your trauma does not have to be a life sentence, and at some point, you have to face you have to face it if you want to heal from it. When you don't speak on it, when you don't make people accountable for their actions,
Mhm.
you won't heal. It weighs on you.
Phenomenon. Coding.
Doing this, but like I said, it's for our children's children, this generation now.
Mhm.
These kids need role models, people they can go to,
Right.
and not go, and this is how they get hurt because they go to strangers who are wearing a mask as,
Yep.
oh, it's okay, I'm here for you, not realizing that that
They'll
person,
get Yep.
right,
Eventually, they show their true colors and they turn their back on you.
right.
Yep.
So now you grow up as an adult. How old were you when you had your first son, daughter?
Ooh, you taking me way back.
I'm taking you way back, girl.
Well, my daughter, I had her in what, 2012. She was born in 2012. So yeah, I was about what? I met her dad in 2011. I was about 19 years old. 19, 18 or 19. Yep.
And I can imagine when you met their dad at the time.
When I met him at the time, I had currently just moved because I was still living with my mom. She always told me that I couldn't go nowhere until I turned 18. The day after I turned 18, I left home because I was watching her getting abused by her husband at that moment.
And you had enough.
And I had had enough. And I say, this is unacceptable. Trying to tell her that this is not okay.
Mhm.
Left the day after I turned 18, and I was homeless. Didn't even know where I was going to go. Stayed with a friend for quite some time, but who I was going to school with. But in the process of that, my friend, she was a girl, her and her mom had a toxic relationship. I didn't want to be around that. So it's like I was trying to, here trying to
Yeah.
remove myself
Trying
from
to
the
escape,
toxicity.
and everywhere you go, you're finding
Yes,
yourself in the same situation.
yes.
And that was the unhealed part because you know what they say.
Yep,
We attract what we are.
yep. But it didn't take long for me to leave,
Mhm.
because I already knew what I knew was unacceptable, what I wasn't gonna allow, what I knew what I deserved. So I ended up coming back to Ocala, Florida. I was homeless a few days, living in a park, staying with a few relatives that didn't work. Eventually started staying with a best friend who I had knew for years. I was living with her and her husband and 2 kids at the time.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.
Her husband was related to my kid's dad. That's how I actually met him. And he would come over every day, and you know how that go. You meet
Yeah.
somebody, you don't want to be bothered, but they just
Always picking at you, saying, all right,
yes.
let me give you some time. And then
Yep,
time turned into years.
yep. And that's how guys are,
Yeah.
even as kids, when little boys see girls
Yeah.
that they like, that's what happens. And
That's
that's what
exactly.
happened. And that's how I got reeled in. Then got too comfortable and content with him. Moved in with him and his mom. Moved in with them, had my daughter. Everything changed when I had my first daughter. Everything started changing. And you don't know a person until you start having kids from them.
That is true.
And we as women, we have a bad tendency of that, you know?
Yeah.
But we shouldn't blame ourselves because it's not our fault.
No, it's not.
We only fall into the traps that were led on us,
Yeah.
that we watch our parents go through.
And I said before, I said we're not taught how to be parents.
Uh-huh.
We're not taught how to love. We're not taught how to choose the right partners. And
Uh-huh.
somebody said, "Well, you can't teach." I said, "Yes, you can teach somebody that.
Right.
You can teach somebody how to love.
You sure can.
You can teach somebody how to have healthy communication with their partner.
You sure
You
can.
can teach them how to choose a proper partner." Because listen, I used to always see the saying that says, "Look at a man by how the dynamic between him and his mother." And I was like,
Oh, yes.
"Holy! If
Okay.
if that's not some truth, that is some hard truth."
Absolutely. And that's a red flag that I missed.
Yeah,
The way that
and you're
he,
not the only one. We all
yep,
miss it.
the
We all miss it.
relationship he had with his mom was, ooh, it was horrible. But
And
I
what?
did not know the red flags. I did not know those were red flags at that moment that I
Yeah.
was going through it.
Hmm.
I was aware later on down the line as I began to heal and I began to walk away from a lot of things.
And what made you finally say, you know what? I choose me. Because at some point you
Mhm.
said, I choose me. And, some people be like, oh, I chose my children. But no, you have to choose yourself
Yep.
first. Because if you choose your children first, you end
Right.
up resenting your kids. You're not
Yep.
really trying to heal.
You're
But you
gonna
have to
actually
choose
stay in that relationship because of the kid.
exactly because you're choosing the kids. You're like, okay, well, the kids are saying, but mommy, I want you and daddy to stay together. And you're like,
Right.
okay,
And
I'm
they're
gonna stay
always gonna
because
feel that way.
and
Yeah.
you're always gonna feel that way.
Mhm.
But at some point you woke up and said, you know what? I choose Thomasina.
Yep.
I love me way too much to
Mhm.
continue this relationship with him.
Yep.
And what was that moment for you?
That moment for me, it's like even though I was still staying in a relationship all those years, one thing I always did is I prayed. I prayed and I made sure I had a relationship with God because I knew deep down this is not how I'm supposed to be treated. So even going through all the years of heartbreak and toxicity, I was always praying to the God that asked me to give me the strength to leave this relationship. And the more he actually abused me and did and said things to hurt me, the more strength I gained to eventually walk away. See, he thought he was breaking me. He was
Mm-mm.
breaking me down.
He was strengthening you up. He
Yeah.
was building you up, and he didn't
Yeah,
even
and
know.
he wasn't doing nothing but building me up. And that's where I found my power. That's where I found my strength. That's where I say, you know what? Enough is enough. I got tired. You know that saying? My mom used to always tell me, when you're tired, you do something about it.
Yep. When you're tired, you do something about it.
Yeah. And that's one thing I always remembered with her when she was alive. She hated that I was in a relationship with my kid. She could not stand it because she did not like how he treated me. She just felt like he wasn't worthy of me. He didn't treat me how I was supposed to be treated. And I told her, I said, you have to let me get tired. It's not your decision. I have kids with him, not you.
Yeah.
Let me get tired. I understand how you feel, but not even realize it was hurting her too. But my thing of it is, how did this hurt you when you let the men you were with continue to damage and walk on you? And she always told me that she wasn't strong as I am. She told me that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And like now that she's gone, I understand what she meant. And I never forget what she told me in a lot of choices and decisions I made. was because I remembered what she said to me. And I always take that and I use that to cope with life and continue to go on.
You know, when I said there is something here, and you and I both know what it is, and I know that like people be like, "Oh, how could you forgive her and still love her? She didn't protect you, but she admired you,
Absolutely.
and she like
And she
I
always told me
feel
that. She always told me that.
I I don't know. I feel it that she loved you like she loved you so much.
She just didn't know how to show it
Mhm.
because she never experienced it.
Exactly,
And
and
you know,
she
the
wanted the
best
best
part
for you.
about the best part about, before she died, that I wrote my book in 2021. She passed in 2021. And it's like when my book went viral and everything, before she passed, I actually got the chance to tell her that I forgave her. I forgave her. And that's where I found my closure. It's like the timing was everything.
Hmm.
Like everything happened
Hmm.
at the right time. God was doing everything for a reason. And I was so glad. I was so glad that I got the chance to tell her that I forgave her.
And
And
she needed that, you know.
and before she when the day that she died, she actually at the time we weren't communicating because she was in denial, of what she had said about the book. So it was the day that she actually passed that she tried to reach out to, even though we were on bad terms, but she tried to reach out to me while she was in the hospital. And I believe it was because she knew that she was gonna leave. And she wanted to tell me that she was sorry, but she waited too late.
It wasn't too late. And I want to tell you that it's not too late. And this is going to seem weird, but that's something that's here. Release it. Release it because she's proud of you that you wrote the book. You finished her book. You finished her book.
Right?
And she is so proud of you for doing that.
I know she is.
And she loves you. And she says, thank you for forgiving her. She was more mad at herself why she treated you that way, but she loved you even when she was hard on you.
She was hard on me for a reason.
And you are her girl, and you will always be her girl. It's like the weirdest feeling that's flowing through my body. You release it because it is well. She is happy and she's forgiven. She didn't go away with any burden because you did exactly what she couldn't do and what she wanted you to do,
Right.
even though she couldn't be strong for you for those couple of years. She's up there like, listen, girl, you finished this for us.
Right.
So you be proud of yourself.
I am
Have
very.
no regrets,
I
not
don't.
one.
I don't. I don't at all. And I just wish that she can see, she can be here to witness my accomplishments, and I think that's the hardest part that I deal with.
It's her not physically being there, I know.
Yeah.
But you gotta find that peace in there. I know your heart is so heavy, but you have to find that peace in there. Because she's not physically here.
No.
But trust me when I say she's cheering for you. And you have 10,000 angels surrounding you throughout everything you're about to go through. Believe me, it will be a battlefield, but you're not going through it alone. But I need you to release it. I need you to release it because you were born for purpose. And God's just getting started with you. So I know it's hard, but we get through it, right?
Right.
I promise. I said I'm not gonna cry, but
I know, right? It's okay.
every
It's okay.
time.
It's
But this is
okay.
not. I want people to understand that. You know, when they see people crying, it's not because we're not
Right.
healed.
Yep.
It's a spiritual connection, you know.
Yep.
And sometimes God speaks through us through tears.
Hmm. Right. And sometimes you need to
Yeah,
cry,
and
you
sometimes
know?
we need to, you know, because when we sit back and think about all the things we went through, we're like, damn, we really went through that. We made it through that.
Yep. And I can agree. Sometimes at night when I put my kids to bed and I'm in here in my room by myself, I cry. I cry tears of joy because I am proud of me.
Yeah, as you should be. You honestly should be.
And I
You didn't
always
just
tell myself,
survive,
yep,
you thrived, and you are thriving. You are thriving, and you're going to continue to thrive.
absolutely.
You are a silence breaker,
Hmm.
and you're going to teach us all how to stop this shame, feeling ashamed, and silence, and keeping mute because we're taught that from childhood.
Yep. And it
In
does not
my
help.
home, in my Jamaican household, it was what happens in our house stays in our
Stays
house.
around. Yeah.
So nothing left the house. And even as an adult now, we find ourselves in jobs and we're struggling to ask for what we deserve
Yep.
because
Hmm.
we're taught to just take what we get.
Yep.
And we are worth so much more, and you are worth so much more.
Yes.
Never settle for anything that God does not have for you.
Right. And this journey is
For
definitely
you,
teaching me, like, I don't have to settle. Like, this is it. This journey and me knowing my worth and who I am as a woman and knowing my power. It's teaching me how to love myself more, how to walk away from people and things that
don't
first,
serve you.
you get what I'm saying? Yes. And I love that for me because I didn't used to be like this.
Yeah.
So when I think about all the like, oh my God, when I think about who I was and how I let a lot of things fly by,
Slide.
I
Mm.
get disgusted because I'm like, who was this person?
I do the same thing. Like
Who
honestly,
was
I don't know if you've done it.
yes.
If you sat down and read back your book
Hmm.
and you look at who you are now, you're like, hold up, who was that person? Because I would never allow that now.
Right.
So, so it's
Right.
just funny to watch your own transition and changing season.
Yep.
And you're like, hold up, that was me? Nah,
Right.
nah, nah. If I have to redo that again, no way
Right.
y'all getting away with that.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yep.
And you keep
Your
going through that
growth, your
season.
transition, and
That's it. The
yep.
growth and I feel like, God has to take us through that. So we appreciate it more.
Right.
Everything that comes to us, we appreciate it more.
Yep.
We're not selfish. We're not saying, whatever.
Hmm.
It's the crying moments that you're like, oh my gosh, you pulled me out of that.
Right. And
I
that's what
survived.
God can't nobody tell me that God is not real.
N- Absolutely no one can tell me that. So I'll tell you, you're alive
Can't.
in the pit of hell.
Yep. Can't.
And I know that listen, you got that closure with your mom.
Mhm.
Trust me, you got it.
I do.
You don't, you don't need to be digging and wondering if she's upset with you because she,
Right.
and
I
I know
know.
that for sure. And I
Me
speak
too.
that boldly,
Me too.
for sure. And you can be glad and pat yourself on the back and know that she's looking down on you saying, I love
Well
you.
done.
Well
Well
done.
done.
Well done, girl. You did it. And you did it for her grandbabies because those are
Yep.
her grandbabies.
Yep.
Now, your uncle,
Hmm.
were you ever able to speak to him after everything, or did you kind of just,
So never was able to speak to him, but he did when he found out about the book. I'm pretty sure when he
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.
seen the cover and the name, he already knew.
he
So
already
he did try to reach out to me over social media, and I immediately blocked him. I immediately blocked him because I'm like, you should be writing me trying to apologize. That should have been your first words. I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no way you didn't remember what you did to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately blocked him. Um, and you know, I battled with, removing a lot of other people that knew him that I was friends with. I was going no contact with anybody he had contact with. I wasn't dealing with it.
Yeah.
So about a week ago, 2 weeks ago is when I actually start to file for justice. Yep. After all these years.
I am so proud of you.
Yep.
Listen, I cannot wait to go on that journey with you.
Yep.
I cannot wait to go on that journey with you. You got it.
I do.
And listen, I told you, you got 10,000 angels around you.
Right.
You got sisters and brothers here for you. Girl, I am here. One phone call away.
Okay.
This is another healing stage and it's going to be,
Facts.
listen,
Yep.
going to be explosive for you and your kids.
Right.
And I'm proud that you're doing that. And, I want to ask, and I just want to say, if there's anybody that's been thinking about doing that process,
Mm-hmm.
getting justice for themselves,
Right.
what's some advice you can give to them? Because that's a very
It is.
and challenging decision to make.
Well, I would definitely say that your trauma is never your fault, but healing is always your responsibility. Your trauma does not have to be a life sentence. And at some point, you have to face you have to face it if you want to heal from it. When you don't speak on it, when you don't make people accountable for their actions,
Mhm.
you won't heal. It weighs on you. So my best advice is if you want to heal, don't be afraid. Do not let fear get in the way. The trauma and damage, it's already done. What do you got to lose?
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
And whoever has anything to say about it,
Yep.
they don't matter because you have to
Yep.
carry that burden,
Yep.
not them. All
Yep.
they got to carry is words and their opinions that don't matter.
Yep.
But you have to live with that sickness. And when I say sickness, it's the unhealed sickness, the
Yep.
trauma sickness,
That causes depression and cause brokenness. Like
and other
that's
sicknesses
how
in your
my
body.
mom died. She died broken. Like she had a bad heart and everything. They blamed it on COVID, of course, but she was already You get what I'm saying? She was
Mm-hmm.
already she was on different medications. She was broken, and that's what happens.
That's exactly what happens
Yep. When
when
you
you're
don't
unhealed.
use your voice and you don't seek healing, you don't seek therapy, you don't this is what happens. This is
Yeah.
why it's important.
Being unhealed attacks everything on the inside, your
Yep.
organs, everything.
Yep.
Truth. I'm so proud of you for doing this. Like you have no like my insides are like they're jumping up. And I wanted to ask you about the book.
Mhm.
What was the most challenging thing for you when writing the book?
Whew, revisioning that trauma starting at the age of 4. When I was writing the book, I had breakdowns, like I would shut down. I would the guy who was actually my book coach at the time, I would reach out to him. I'm like, "I can't do this. I can't do this." And he's like, "Yes, you can. It's normal to have these mixed emotions and feelings.
Mhm.
You got this. You can do this." So that helped me. Um, and I was in my head saying to myself, "You got this. You can do this." All sometimes you got to pep talk yourself.
Yep. You
You
have
got to. With life in general, you got to. Because at the end of the day, you are your number one supporter. If nobody else is going to say, long as you know you got you and you're supporting yourself, sometimes that's what you need. So you got to pep talk yourself. It's needed. That's what helped me get through. That's what helped me push and continue to write this book. And I'm so glad I did not give up. And look, I wrote another book. I'm in the process of writing my third book.
mm,
So hey, I'm
doing
just
good.
glad. Yeah, I'm glad I did not like. I'm glad. I'm glad I had people pushing me and I pushed myself because it was needed.
And what advice would you give to anybody that wants to share their story? They want to write a book, um, but they're afraid. They're stifled. They're still waddling in silence. They're fearful of people attacking them, but they're still dealing with that trauma sickness and they want to come out, but they don't know how to do it. What advice would you give to them?
Well, the advice that I would give is when you find yourself stuck in fear, do it. Do it because that's how you overcome a lot of your fears. When you
Mhm.
find yourself, oh, I'm afraid to do this or do that, go here, go there, that should give you more of a reason to do it.
And
And just like never be afraid because you're never alone. There's someone out there that needs to hear your story. Your story can help someone else. This is another reason why I'm so glad that I shared my story because it's helping other women.
it really is. It
This
is.
is like I'm gonna be the next Maya Angelou.
Speak it into existence, of
Right.
course.
Or the next Harriet Tubman. You know what I'm saying?
Girl.
Like they gonna remember my name. They gonna
They're gonna
remember me.
remember your name
Yep.
because we're
This
doing.
is this is how you set yourself free. If you want to be free, if you want to be healed, if you want to continue to have a better life overall, just do things that you're afraid to do.
I agree.
What's the saying? Behind fear, there's success. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Because that fearful feeling that you're getting is
Yep.
something telling you that you're on the right path.
Right.
You're on the right path.
Hmm.
Just do it and see where it takes you.
Just can't be afraid.
Yeah.
People are like, I'm here in the state of Georgia, and it's just me and my kids. I've met, a few people here and there, but I have like absolutely no family. Like I came up here, you know,
By
and
yourself.
yes, and they're like when they see me out and about and they see me by myself, and I go everywhere, but I don't mind. I'm like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to be out here. I was born alone. I practically been alone all my life,
Yeah.
so why would I let being alone stop me from my destiny or the purpose God got planned for me?
Mhm. That's the truth.
So,
And for your books, especially The Silence Breaker,
mhm.
where can people purchase it from?
They can actually purchase my books off my personal website at www.thomasinaruth.org. They can also go on Amazon.com. Um, and it's everywhere books are sold, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, different platforms.
Thank you. And are there any special events coming up that you're attending or you're putting together?
Yes, I have. I'm actually working towards having my first book signing here in the state of Georgia.
I can't miss that.
Yes, so
Do you know when that's gonna be or
I don't know just yet, but once I figure out when it can be and what's it's gonna be, I will definitely be letting everyone know on my social media. I'm actually currently also have a project that I look forward to and I'm claiming it. I'm actually looking for female producers because I actually want to film my
listen?
book.
God's just aligning things.
Yep.
It's funny because don't worry, girl. We're gonna chat off of here.
Yes. And I know everything's a process, so you
Yeah.
gotta you gotta take time and meet the right people, and don't just rush and jump out
Rush.
there. You gotta be patient,
Yeah. You gotta go through the process and be patient with it.
and
Don't
that's
rush into
something I'm in my season of right now. Being patient. If I haven't learned nothing else since I've been here in the state of Georgia, I have learned patience, and it's still a process.
Yes. Yes. Patience is a virtue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that. And honestly, Thomasina, this has been beyond a blessing. Like literally, I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, my ribs are hurting. But it's like I feel so good just being here and talking to you.
Right.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And I can't wait to see what else you're going to do and what God has planned for you, what levels He's going to take you to, because this is just the beginning.
Right.
This is
Yep.
the beginning of many things. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to thank you for being so transparent, being so open, and agree.
Vulnerable.
Honestly, vulnerable.
Vulnerability is so important.
It is. It is. And I feel like we've locked ourselves up not being able to do that. Because
Right.
we think it's a weakness, but it's not.
But it's not.
No, it's not. It's
Yep.
strength actually.
Yep.
Being able to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank you for gracing the Licensees platform.
Yes, ma'am.
These are the conversations that we need to have in this season because they're
Right.
needed.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
And I love you more.
And I hope that you sleep well tonight and you and the kids. Kiss the kids for me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Will do.
Love
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good night, babe.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in with me and my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friend, my sister, Thomasina Ruth. Guys, breaking the silence is not an easy task. It's not an easy thing to do. I think that we've all struggled with telling the truth, telling what really happened to us and not feeling ashamed and not wanting to, shrink and silence ourselves. And it's a thing that we are all learning to do, is break free. Break free from the silence, the generation of silence, the generation of trauma, the toxic generational cycle that continues to repeat itself, where when things happen, we all stay silent. Whether we put on our blindfolds, whether we block it out and we don't want to deal with it, we have stayed silent about things that we should speak up about, things that we should educate each other about, and things that, we can break and learn from each other. Guys, I want to really thank you guys for tuning in with me. Thank you guys for your continued support. Thank you to my new subscribers. Thank you to my commenters, my likes, my reshares. Thank you guys so much for supporting the Life to Seize podcast. As we continue to grow, guys, I ask that you continue to subscribe, continue to show your love, continue to leave your comments because I'm loving them. I would like to interact with you guys. You guys, please leave me some comments. Let me know what you would like to hear next, what you would like to see, some changes you would like to see happen. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy your morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are in your world. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jen Simpson. See you next time. Mwah.
Phenomenous. Cold ink.